Greetings everyone, I'm Endcards and welcome to the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 Retrospective. In this video we're going to be doing Night 5 and Night 6, and you will find out the answer to the question I asked in the previous video. That is, can we get the good ending, quote-unquote good ending, before the bad ending?
Hello. This is just a reminder of company policy concerning the safe room. The safe room is reserved for equipment and or other property not being currently used and as a backup safety location for employees only. It is not a break room, should not be considered a place for employees to hide and or congregate. And under no circumstance should a customer ever be taken into this room and out of the main show area. Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved. We would like to remind employees that this costume is not safe to wear under any circumstances. Thank you, and remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Clicked on the wrong fucking thing. It's a very interesting phone call. I'm probably going to be talking about phone calls in the next episode because I'm just going to be doing the aggressive nightmare mode anyways and showing you the cheats. So how you switch between the minigames is you press S. I'm not sure how you're supposed to discover this, but here you go. And this child is weirdly discolored compared to the other ones. I'm not sure why. You can't really do anything here. You can't really interact with anything here in the other minigames. This doesn't do anything either. The only thing that will take you out is pressing the exit. And you spawn in here in stage 1. You spawn next to Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Why? I'm not sure. It might not be like a specific thing, but like I was trying to say in the previous episode, if you hold down S, you keep switching. You're supposed to figure out, wait a second, there's like a way out of here. Circle all the way back to the first minigame right here. You can go to the right, it doesn't really matter. You just have to interact with the child eventually. I just wanted to do that. Come to the child. And they are gonna get cake. And I don't know how you're supposed to know to press S, but whatever. Now let's check back on Happiest Day. And that last child was Jeremy, the Bonnie child. So there's some kind of connection there. Now they're all here. Charlie, Jeremy, Fritz, Susie, and Gabriel, all in that order. Who are we giving cake to? It's Dave Afton, because this is a reversal of the FNaF 4 bite minigame, and he's one of the two spirits in Golden Freddy. This is what we know now, but back in the day, we just thought this is the 5th Golden Freddy kid. And it could work that way, but after FNaF 4, Scott changed the meaning of this minigame, so it became much more complicated. Which actually circles back to what he said in that one Doggo interview about the answer to his question about which ending is canon in FNaF 3 being complex. So one of the complexities of the answer is that there's not one Golden Freddy kid, there's 2 Golden Freddy kids, Dave and Cassidy. So while Happiest Day could have freed Dave's soul, it did not free Cassidy's soul. Now, fuck me. As you can tell by the ambience, Springtrap has teleported closer to me. He was in camera 9, now he's in camera 5. Which I understand the tension between this mechanic, right? What Scott was trying to do is he was trying to make it so that you had the impression that because you got jump scared and you didn't play against the phantoms correctly, that he got closer to you and you just lost track of him. But in reality, he literally just teleports. And there are teleportation mechanics in other FNaF games, but in those games they work. For example, it works in FNaF 4 because it actually forces you to play the game correctly. If the teleportation mechanic didn't exist, FNaF 4 would be more exploitable. But Scott thought that through. Okay, he's back in 5. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is a pretty easy game. Now the problem I have with this game is that first of all, the randomness of it all is already a problem, right? I mentioned that Springtrap has a 1 in 7 chance of just ignoring the audio lure. It's not like, you know, the animatronics of FNaF 2 have a 1 in 7 chance of just not leaving the office when you have the mask on. It's stupid. Ah, fuck, it's over. How did he get there? Well, this night is cooked. Yeah, I can stall him for like maybe 1 or 2 more hours, but that's all I can do. There he is. By the way, playing audio lure on the same camera where he is doesn't keep him in the camera, which I think is a missed opportunity for a good mechanic. And I actually managed to die in this game. That's embarrassing. This game is so easy, but it's like all randomized. If he didn't cross the window there, which is completely random, well, I would have been perfectly fine. But yeah, once... Oh my fucking god, bro, are you kidding? Alright, fuck this. We just started the night. It's crazy how soon Foxy can spawn in. That is just absurd, in my opinion. I'm going to be talking about the calls later. I don't think it's something we need to mention right now. I'm just gonna leave that for the next episode. Dude, every time without fail, what the fuck? I'm just not used to him spawning this soon. Jesus Christ, this is night 5, bro. This is not even aggressive. So in the first hour, Springtrap cannot vent, so you don't really need to do anything unless he gets really close. Now just sitting here pretty much isn't very good because the longer you idle, the more likely you're gonna get a ventilation error, blaring lights, and that's, you know, obviously a problem. We can idle a little bit, it's not that bad, and it's a little bit useful to keep track of him. So he's not in this area anymore. He's just in the 7, 6, 8, 5 area. Just gotta keep him there. This is probably the best area to keep Springtrap in, because when you see camera 9 or 10, it becomes difficult because you have to choose one of the two vents to juggle. And that's the fallacy that people fall into, right? When they play this game, the further Springtrap is from you, the better. But actually, if you look at the cameras, cam 9, the ventilation leads straight to over here, like basically outside of your door, which is really bad. Cam 10 is even worse because it leads right to your office. So if you let Springtrap go through cam 10, through that ventilation, you're just completely fucked. Another problem with the gameplay in this game is how boring it is. No? Where the fuck is he? There he is. Okay. Alright, that was weird. I should have been able to see him on the cameras before. So I don't know, that just was weird. But yeah, another issue is, in this game, there's a lot of sitting and waiting. And unlike in FNAF 2, where waiting with the mask is a bit tense, you're just waiting here, and that's just not fun. When you play a game and you're forced to stop playing, that's not good game design. I don't know what to tell you. But one more thing I find problematic in the gameplay, and it's more of a psychological thing than anything, but I think it kind of matters in FNAF, is there's something missing in this game compared to all the other ones. And I call that thing the inevitability of confrontation. I could probably find a better word for it, but that's the term I'm gonna use for now. Because in every game, the animatronics would come to you and you have to react. There is no way to stop them. There's a way to slow them down, but inevitably, the animatronics will get close to you. Whether that be in FNAF 4, or FNAF 2, or FNAF 1, or Pizza Sim, you are forced to confront them. That's kind of the crux of the game, in my opinion. They get to you, and eventually you have to deal with it. That's what makes the game fun. There he is, if you can't see him. And that's part of the horror of the game, is that it's inevitable. What is psychological about it is you have to do something. When they do get to you, you have to survive. You have to act quickly, you have to use the correct action, you have to make sure to balance all the characters. And that's what makes FNAF FNAF, in my opinion, which is why this game fails in a gameplay sense, because everything is distant. There's no way he's in this one. He should be in the 7 cam, because I didn't see him go into... Oh, he was in cam 9. Dude, what the fuck? Yep, I knew that was gonna happen. He'd always plays that animation when he just arrived from cam 9. Yeah, see? I told you Balloon Boy would spawn, and there he is. So, we can stall him for a little bit here, but Phantom Freddy is also a problem here. Let me see if he jumpscares me here or not. No, not yet. So, there's a chance that if we turn... Oh, fuck. I did not expect that to happen. I was trying to show you something else. There's a chance that if we turn to the right, he will just turn the camera left anyway and jump scare us. There's also a chance that he won't. This game is all chance driven. I don't know why I'm still stuck here. This is embarrassing as fuck. I've beaten Aggressive Nightmare Mode like at least 25 times. At least 25 times. I was not even checking cam 9. So let me just skip to 3 AM and then I'll keep showing you the rest of the night, whatever. Okay, all things considered, I do shit on this game a lot. By the way, I already lost like one more run in between recordings. But anyway, Scott did plan the map through pretty well, being that there's no perfect area to keep him. Now, I have a preferred area for keeping Springtrap. Some people think it's the 2 area, which is dangerously close, too close in my opinion. Some people like the 9-10 area, which, as I previously said again, is very faulty. I am one of the people who prefers the 7-8-6-5 kind of loop, because you can tell when he moves into camera 5. You can easily check if he moves into camera 9 from camera 8. And all the other remaining time, you can just keep him in 7 and 6. You can just keep that vent closed and adjust accordingly if you need to. So I'm using this strategy pretty much most of the time. I will sometimes adjust if he's like too close. I need to keep him in like the 2 area. Okay, that's just Phantom Freddy. But there is Springtrap right here. Let's wait for him to leave. Call him back in. Fix audio, which will help Phantom Freddy leave, so I can actually hear where Springtrap is. And you can reboot these. You don't have to wait for an error to occur to reboot these systems. But there's like an invisible value that I wish Scott showed. Okay, so he's in cam 5 now. He's in cam 2 now. Alright, now he's back in 5. Close that. Oh, he's in the cam 5 vent. That was timely. Once we're at 5, we can basically stall him at any point. I mean, Phantom Freddy can still be a huge fucking asshole. There's actually a way to get rid of Phantom Freddy, and I'm not sure if it's like by 1 AM or at 1 AM. If he spawns, there's like a way to get rid of him for the rest of the night. Because most Phantoms, if they attack you once per night, they don't attack you again. Just gotta make sure he's not in cam 2. That's my main concern right now. Actually, I don't know where he is because of Phantom Freddy once again. He's not here. He's probably not in here. That would be quite a problem. Okay, no, he's in like cam 6 or 8 or 7. Alright, good. So let's just close the 7 vent, and it's 5 AM. And yeah, let's just close this really quick. One more thing I forgot to mention is how bad double click detection is in Click Team. Like, you have to click specifically, and very often it's not gonna do what you want it to, and it's really annoying. So I wish Scott did like right click instead of left click, because it's so much easier. It's pretty intuitive. I'm not sure why he was so like into not using right click for anything. But there you go. Time for one of the most iconic FNaF moments. Now, just for the sake of completion, I will show you what hint is now in this place. There is no hint, because we already completed every step towards getting the quote-unquote good ending, which I've been saying that because it's not the good ending, but that's just what people think. It's the end. That is just the ending that happened. Because of what I was saying, it's complicated. There's 2 Golden Freddy spirits, not 1, so even if Dave Afton moves on, Cassidy still remains. And then you also have another problem with Molten MCI. The kids could not be fully freed because parts of their souls have been portioned out into Remnant and reused in the Phantom animatronics, which eventually ended up in Molten Freddy. So we can walk around here, nothing's gonna happen. He's not gonna jump out this time. No matter what we do, we just have to walk into here, and you will see something really strange happen. Really strange, honestly, when you think about it, because the timeline of this is honestly confusing, because what this scene is showing us, and Henry mentions this in his monologue in the insanity ending of Pizzeria Simulator. William set out some kind of trap, and he lured them all back into the safe room the way he killed them, and the safe rooms were mentioned in the previous phone call, but like I said, I'm going to go into details on the phone calls later. He's used the spirits, their soul energy or whatever, that powered the original animatronics, the classics that we see here disassembled, in new ways. They just have their casings laid out here, but they don't have their endoskeletons. So what this is implying is that William was taking them apart on purpose to take their endoskeletons, and this is what happened with Molten MCI. The question is, why did he come back? How did he get cornered by these spirits? How did the mechanics work? If you break the animatronic, the spirits come out? And if so, why didn't that happen to the toys? One more thing I wanted to mention is that this safe room has a few arcade cabinets, and also, what the fuck is he holding? What is he holding? He's holding something weird. Obviously, we're playing as Cassidy, not Dave. We're playing as Cassidy, and we're exacting revenge on William. Why? Because I think the way that Cassidy possesses Golden Freddy, and why it's different from other possessions, and why Golden Freddy is so powerful, not just because it has 2 spirits, but also because Cassidy probably got spring-locked, and this is doubly ironic. Not only is the killer who put his victims in the suits of animatronics is gonna end up getting killed in the suit of an animatronic, but this is exactly how he killed Cassidy, by spring-locking Cassidy. That's my fanon. So, this is more ironic now. Cassidy exacting the exact same revenge on William, and what can I just say? This is one of the most iconic moments in this whole franchise. Here comes the dramatic reveal. Springtrap has been William Afton all along. And people have figured this out pretty early, because the teasers were giving us a lot of information, and yeah, I know I didn't talk a lot about teasers yet, but anyways, answer to your question. There you go, you can't get the good ending first. You probably heard it here first, folks. You can't get the good ending before the bad ending. And if I want to get the bad ending, I have to start the game over, which I don't feel like doing particularly, but it's nothing interesting. It's just you get a different screen, and you don't get 1 star. Now, one thing I didn't test, which I probably should have tested, is will you still get the star by just beating the minigame without having to beat Night 5? That's an interesting question. And this actually was really sad at the first time we saw this, because we thought this was really the end. This is the first ending screen we ever got in any FNaF game. This felt like an actual ending to the series. Scott himself said that FNaF 3 was supposed to be the end of a trilogy, but because the game sucked in terms of horror and gameplay, he had to make FNaF 4, which exceeds in this area exactly. FNaF 4 is terrifying, and it's very good in terms of gameplay, but it does fumble in the story department, so yeah, FNaF just keeps going because Scott messes something up, and he's asked to make a better version, and he kind of brings it all at the end in Pizza Sim and Ultimate Custom Night, but he still keeps the franchise going just with other developers. So there you go, we have unlocked 2 things. So first of all, we have 2 stars because we got the good ending, quote-unquote, right? And also we beat Night 5. Now, something that's interesting about this game is that we don't get paychecks, which is something we got in the previous 2 games, so we don't know the name of the Night Guard. It's still subject for debate, right? People think it's probably Mike, which is most likely. Some people think it's Henry, which is also not the worst option, and some people think it's like random other characters, which I think is quite unlikely. Nightmare mode is next, but first let's look at the extras menu. We did not unlock everything, but we did unlock a few things. For example, since we beat the good ending, quote-unquote, we got minigames. So we can go back and we can replay all these games. And if you check the games, you will see that all the children are missing because they're all been saved or whatever, or at least partially. It's an interesting debate on the metaphysics of it all. What did it mean? Like, did the kids actually move on, or was this like an unsuccessful attempt by Charlie to free the spirits? What happened to Charlie? Now we know that Charlie actually ended up in Lefty, but here we have Springtrap, and we get to see him in all his quote-unquote glory. Interesting model. Guts everywhere for some reason, even in the chest area and the leg area. Yeah, I don't know. I think Scott was trying to just show viscera without being detailed about it, but I don't know. I don't think it worked out that well. Here we have a close-up, and the reason why is because in the jump scare menu, since Springtrap has 2 jump scares, Scott wanted to align it with this menu right here. And since Phantom Mangle doesn't really have a jump scare, Phantom Mangle isn't on this list. But Phantom Mangle is in the game, and this fueled speculation. Oh, maybe Mangle is actually real. It's obviously not, and it's disproven in FNaF World. We see in FNaF World, Phantom Mangle is just a thing that exists. It just wasn't in this menu because, I don't know, Scott is weird. Here you have Phantom Foxy, doesn't have one of his arms. Really weird. We have Phantom Balloon Boy. Alright then, doesn't have a sign or his balloon. But sure, whatever. Phantom Chica people are clowning on because she looks like a watermelon. And yeah, that's pretty accurate. So Phantom Chica has no alterations to her model. But Phantom Foxy and Phantom Freddy have missing limbs. You cannot see it in this menu, but Phantom Freddy has one leg missing. He only has like this thigh portion of his leg, but not the lower leg. Really bizarre decisions. I don't know why Scott came up with these ideas, but obviously Phantom Freddy is supposed to be analogous to Golden Freddy because this is exactly the Golden Freddy model. And if you pay attention, they still have all their base colors. Foxy has the red. Balloon Boy has his colors, which are really hard to see because of the burning texture. But Chica has the yellow, and Phantom Freddy has the yellow, which means this is Golden Freddy, not regular Withered Freddy. Food for thought. And I'm pretty sure Phantom Freddy is named Golden Freddy in the game files. There's like this video on YouTube that it keeps recommending to me. Why is Golden Freddy missing in FNaF 3? Well, he's not missing. This is him. And I don't think Scott gave this too much thought, but here you go. Weird trivia about FNaF. Because, like I said, the minigames have analogs to the Phantom animatronics. You have Phantom BB. You have Phantom Mangle. You have Phantom Chica. You have Phantom Freddy. And it's represented by Fredbear or Golden Freddy, right? Not regular Freddy. And then you have Shadow Bonnie, which is like just going back to Springtrap. But like I mentioned before, no Foxy analog for some reason. There wasn't an extra minigame. And then you have the Phantom Puppet, which is weird because Scott has always referred to, and even in the movie, when you look at the FNaF 2 trailers, everyone is saying the marionette, but the marionette. Now the puppet is the name most commonly used by the community, but the official name of this character is Marionette. So I don't know why, but in FNaF 3 it's the Phantom Puppet, even though it's the marionette. One of my favorite ones. Visually speaking, like this is horrifying in my opinion. We didn't unlock jump scares or cheats. To unlock jump scares, we need to beat nightmare mode if I'm not mistaken. And that's how we also get cheats. And then we unlock aggressive, which is the final challenge of this game. But first, let's do nightmare mode. The call is interesting, but nothing that crazy compared to the previous ones.
Hello? This is just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. More crews will be here most of the day today, constructing a false wall over the old door pavement. Nothing is being taken out beforehand, so if you left anything inside, then it's your own fault. Management also requests that this room not be mentioned to family, friends, or insurance representatives. Thanks again, and remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Once again, very interesting, very specific lore about the safe rooms. Now, the safe rooms were a thing that was specifically established in this game. It was kind of a retcon, but the way Scott retconned it actually made sense because he said it doesn't show up on the cameras and it's not accessible to animatronics. So there was no way to see it on the maps in the previous games because that's the lore. So there's no real contradiction other than it's technically a retcon, I guess, because obviously the safe rooms weren't a thing before in the FNaF lore. Scott just made that up for this game. I'm gonna dive deeper into the lore because there's actually a lot to talk about later on in the series. Okay, so Springtrap isn't there anymore. Is he in 5? He might be. No, he's not because the ambience stopped. So back to our regular strategy. And something I might have mentioned or not, I'm not sure, but ventilation error because of a code mistake doesn't actually trigger automatically in nightmare mode. So there's no timer where eventually you will get a ventilation error like on all the other nights, which makes this weirdly a little bit easier in some cases. Alright, he's back to camp 6 or 8, because that's the pathway from camp 5. And if he went to camp 8, he might be in 9 or 7. Not sure where he is. Okay, he's probably just there. I gotta close this vent to be sure. You Phantom Freddy, you gotta leave, bro. This is obnoxious, man. Come on, bro. Okay, he is here because of the camera glitch. I can tell that he was in that camera because of the long static. Alright, so we're back to normal now. No Phantom Foxy yet, which is weird. And he's back in the same vent. Really stupid. Like, yeah, it's log-based. He will not climb into the vent because it's not sealed. He will just climb into the nearest available vent, even if it is sealed. And if it's sealed, he'll just climb back out. So he's not really particularly smart. It's not like he avoids sealed vents at all. Like, he's there again. And this game is so randomized. Like, this is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier. Which is why this game feels unfair and like bullshit, because he becomes really fast on later nights to the point where there's a huge difficulty spike on night 4. When the first 3 nights are completely Flea, Breeze, and most Let's Players just go back to their videos and they don't even know how or why they're winning. It doesn't even feel like you're achieving anything because, like I said, the disconnect between what you're achieving, the feedback of the game, of you playing the game right, and the game informing you that you did something right or wrong, it's not there like in the previous games, or even in like FNaF 4. So you don't really have a sense of actually accomplishing your win. And there's also stuff like this, like pop-outs and pop-ins. Like, this game is just really poorly made in the gameplay aspect. And yeah, like, sorry, but seeing Springtrap pop in and out, yeah, it takes me out of the game. It looks artificial, because it is. If you're paying close attention... Ooh, that was close. When Springtrap shows up to the left, if you have your panel up, you can still see, like, the edge of his ear in frame. Alright, come on, bro. You gotta stop this shit, man. Also, I should have sealed this vent. There's also something sneaky that Springtrap does. If he climbs into the vent on cam 2, it stops the ambience. So if you're not familiar with that mechanic, you might think you're safe, but it's actually tricking you into a false sense of security when you're about to die. There he is. And now he's on cam 6 or 8. He's back in 5. And you can see the static as well as the ambience here, confirming my suspicion. Now he's back in 6 or 8. Great. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. He's back in 5. Okay, that was easy. So yeah, since Phantom Freddy spawned so recently, I don't think it's Phantom Freddy again. Although it could be, I guess. Yeah, it's Springtrap. Back in 5. Yeah, there he is in the camera. He's pretty well hidden on those cameras.
Hi.
Gotta give Scott some credit. He was really good at that part of the game. Oh my god, come on, man. I just sealed it. Like, yeah, he becomes really annoyingly fast in the later nights. Oh, it's just Phantom Freddy. Alright, let's just call him here just in case, because that vent is sealed, so I feel safer calling him to cam 5. He doesn't seem to be getting any closer, but again, Phantom Freddy is masking the ambience, so I don't really know exactly where he is. Okay, so he's in cam 5, good. Now he's closer, he's in cam 2. There he is, see? Call him back to 5, he goes to 5, and now it's quieter. But if he's really close, you will still be able to tell even with Phantom Freddy. He might be in the... No, he's still in the camera. Okay, now he's in 5. Now he's in 6. Or 8. It's really not that difficult, sometimes it's just random based. Yay, Nightmare Mode. That was easy. That was easier than Night 5 for some reason. But there we go. So there's a message from Scott in these side articles. It's a good message, you should check it out if you can. But it burns. Fazbear's Fright burns to the ground. A new local attraction based on an ancient pizzeria chain burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. And there's something about the remaining items being sold at an auction. So if you brighten up the newspaper, you can see that Springtrap survived. And this will come back later in sister location. There will be a cutscene showing Springtrap surviving the aftermath of the Fazbear Fright's fire. And obviously he also shows up as one of the antagonists in Pizzeria Simulator. So Scott really likes foreshadowing. So even in this game, which was supposed to be the end of a trilogy, there's foreshadowing for Springtrap to come back again, which is like the whole motto of William Afton, right? Even though he died in Springtrap, he's back. And even though Fazbear's Fright burned down, he's still back. And even then, he's gonna be back more after that. That's his whole shtick. But something I want to call attention to is that, is he actually dead? Like, his body seems to be rotten and decomposing, but is he actually dead? That's something to think about, because in Pizzeria Simulator, he has a heartbeat. And there's a couple stories in the Fazbear's Fright's books, which also hint towards the idea that organs can be kept alive somehow. You know, like in a zombified state maybe of sorts. It's a weird part of FNaF lore, but something to think about. So we have the 3 stars, and now we have unlocked Jumpscares and Cheats. So yeah, this Jumpscares is infamous for not being scary whatsoever. One of the main reasons why the game got more sequels. That's honestly, it's so insane to think about. But I love the model of Springtrap himself. It's one of the best designs in the franchise. I think we can all agree that Springtrap is goated. But yeah, Brody, this Jumpscare is not it. So yeah, that's kind of fun. But yeah, this is this jump scare that he does if you're at the right while he's in the office. If you're on the left and you're in the office, you get this jump scare. And like I was saying before, this game has a problem with communicating things to you because it looks like he's coming out of the doorway when he gets you in this jump scare. But he might have already crossed the room to the right and be in the right part of the room, technically. But if you turn to the left and you raise the panel, he's gonna play this jump scare. It's confusing visual language. This game really is bad at telegraphing to you what you did wrong, what happened, and where is Springtrap, and why he's there, and how you messed up. Just a fun factoid, but you almost never see this jump scare because of what I said. It takes him a bit to get you in the panel, like you have to be staring at the panel for him to jump scare you. You can actually waste so much time in the right panel, the camera panel, while the Springtrap is already in the office. You can waste so much time. But when you're on the left, it takes him like no time to jump scare you. So yeah, this game has a lot of problems like I already mentioned. Yeah, this is a pretty subpar jump scare. We never got it because I never checked that camera in the later nights. Now this is obviously reminiscent of the FNaF 2 jump scare that Foxy has. Same model as well. That's the one we've gotten a couple times in this playthrough. We got Phantom Freddy once because I was trying to stare Springtrap down. And we have never gotten this one. A new player is most likely to see this as their first jump scare because Phantom Balloon Boy is pretty common. And now we also have cheats available. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you all of these cheats and beating Aggressive Nightmare mode and talking more about lore and other stuff because while you're playing the game, it's kind of hard to concentrate on everything. And there's like a lot to mention about this game, so much to talk about. So probably going to be doing like a background voiceover instead of live commentary in the next video. That's the end for this one. Hope you guys are excited to see Aggressive Nightmare mode. If you have struggled with this mode, I'll show you an easy way to take care of it. It's really not hard. Again, it's about randomness. You just have to persevere against Springtrap. Even though I don't like this game, gameplay wise, like I already mentioned, it doesn't scare me whatsoever. The gameplay sucks, but there's some weird sense of gratification that I get while I beat Aggressive Nightmare mode. Like, it just feels good to win against bullshit RNG. That's gonna be in the next video. Don't forget to smash subscribe, ring my bell, and as always, stay